I have the great honor of introducing our speakers today. Christy Kennett, over her 20-year association with State Farm, Christy has served in various roles, including corporate counsel, director of government affairs, agency field consultant, sales leader, and now as the owner of her own local State Farm agency in San Francisco. Christy brings modern insights as a consumer and a small business operator, cultivating a mix of digital strategies while continuing to build solid relationships with her customers and her community. I think Christy's going to need to tell us about all her past achievements. This is pretty impressive. Todd Crawshaw, our second presenter, is the founder and co-owner of Crawshaw Design with his wife, a full-service multimedia San Francisco Bay Area graphic design firm specializing in integrated brand marketing for print and the web. With nationally recognized clients and more than 35 years experience, the firm is versed in working with companies of all sizes, from individual priorities, guys who own their own business, and major corporations and institutions in a variety of industries. Robert Summers of San Francisco, California, is a sole practitioner with more than 44 years experience as a practicing attorney. An international and domestic tax specialist, he has represented and advised numerous US and foreign individuals and small companies on a variety of tax, business, and estate planning matters since 1976. He is the author of several tax books, Cryptocurrency, Income Tax Planning, Failure to Disclose Foreign Financial Assets, Independent Contractor versus Employee Quagmire, and Pragmatic Asset Protection. Those last are all Bob's books in print and available now. So here we go. Those are our presenters.
It's Georgina. Todd's gonna go ahead and present.
I'm gonna share the screen. Hang on, see if we can get this to go.
While he's pulling this up, I'll just kind of start off by saying that when Todd, Bob, and I originally talked about doing a panel discussion together, it was this time last year, and we had no idea what was ahead due to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you can imagine, in my own local business, we had been used to walking our neighborhood businesses for potential new customer leads. We would sponsor and attend different events. We even worked the State Farm booths at the Warrior games, and different sporting events. And overnight, our motto went from like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, to like a good neighbor, stay over there. so as you can imagine, the pandemic has no doubt changed our business landscape. Still, while many industries did slow down, many more have seen unprecedented levels of business. In my own business, I actually added to my staff this last year in 2020. We ended 2020 with our record highs in both new customer business and customer retention. And as customers have been staying indoors and online, our online strategies and enhancing our virtual office were really key to continue to be vital, to our business success. So knowing how to navigate this new frontier really starts with understanding the new habits of consumers. Todd, go ahead and slide, please.
All right.
So think about when you do your own shopping, when you're thinking about hiring somebody or buying something, what normally you would just type in Google, right? Here's an example, looking for shoes, I just type in shoes, and Todd, next slide. In fact, here, the latest stats say that 67% of customers begin their shopping experience online. And when people shop online, 93% of them read online reviews before they make a purchase decision. And 80% of the US population actually has a social networking profile. In fact, Melissa's one of my guests. I actually have been going to her for many, many years, and I found her searching online because I wanted to get my lashes done before my high school reunion. So that's how I found Melissa, and I've been her customer for over 10 years now. And I want to give you another example. Last year during COVID-19, my husband and I, or my fiance at the time, and I had a lovely spring 2020 wedding planned for about 100 guests. And my brother from New York City was going to marry us. Well, that plan went way out the window. And after we postponed our wedding about 3 times, we decided to get married just with our children and their significant others. But finding people to be involved in our wedding ceremony wasn't that easy. We had to look for everything online. We didn't really, know anybody, couldn't go visit people. So we just Googled it. And then of course I read their reviews. And I want to tell you a story about what I found in these reviews. So I found a person to be the I was looking for an officiant, somebody to actually marry us. And I found somebody with 135 reviews, nearly all of them 5-star. They only had, out of all of those reviews, they only had 3 negative reviews. But normally that tells a great story because you're going to naturally have some people with negative reviews. But in this case, when I was reading these reviews, I do read the negative ones, and it was how the person responded to the reviews. This person I was looking at to be the officiant at our wedding, he was rude, condescending, and didn't even take these complaints about his services seriously. And it showed me a glimpse of this person's personality that I just wasn't interested in dealing with. So honestly, you have hundreds, over 100 positive reviews, but those 3 negative ones, it wasn't the negative reviews, it was how he responded to them that told the story that I decided not to hire him. And once I did pick somebody I did want to hire for this service, I immediately go to their website, check out their website. I checked in their social media profiles, they checked them out on LinkedIn, and that's how I actually found the person to be the officiant at our wedding. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, well, I get all my business from referrals, like everybody just refers business to me, so I don't really need to pay attention to this digital space. I'll give you another example. A few meetings ago, I told everyone at a meeting that I was in the process of looking for some help to remodel our kitchen. And Bob actually gave me some great, folks that he had dealt with, but for his own remodeling work at his house. And now I really trust and value Bob's opinion immensely. So I really do trust Bob's opinion a lot, but our aesthetics could be different. So as soon as he gave me those names, the first thing I did was go to their websites, check out their gallery of work, and I took a look at, some examples of their work. So when we talk about being prepared for the new digital age, here's what we mean. First, how do you get found online? So when people are searching, when they type in a search for a certain service or product they need, how do you get found? Second, once you are found, what's your personal and professional brand? What's that story you're trying to tell about yourself and your business when you do get found? And then third, once a person picks you, how easy is it for them to actually connect with you virtually in this new world? They can't actually necessarily stop by, your office anymore if you're not there. They can't stop by and, connect with you if you have retail space. If you're not open, it's like how easy is it for them to connect with you? And once they are your customers, how do you stay engaged in our new sort of no contact lifestyles? So first, let's look at how do you get found. Next slide, Todd. Okay, so there's these 2 main strategies you'll see here that we'll discuss. The first one's called search engine marketing, and the second is called search engine optimization. They both are trying to attract attention and drive website traffic to your business. They sound the same, but they're actually 2 very different approaches. The main difference is with search engine marketing, you're actually paying for strategies. These are paid strategies that you use to appear in someone's search results. With search engine optimization, these are organic strategies to appear in someone's search results. So a good way to remember that is SEO. O stands for organic, but they're both trying to accomplish the same result. They're just two different strategies. So let's look at SEM. Todd, you can go ahead and advance. So I'm sorry, let's just take an example of SEM versus SEO. So if you're searching for camping equipment, I know this is a little blurry, but just hopefully you can see that the top, if you do search for camping equipment, these top two entries are sponsored results. You can see that little yellow ad, it says, on the front, and these two results at the top actually paid to appear at the top there. They paid for that. Also, all the different little product samples on the right hand of the screen. All of those companies, Target, REI, they also paid to have that little icon appear so somebody would click on it. Now, the next two that say camping gear and camping hiking gear, one's a company, then the one at the bottom is actually REI. Those two are organic results. So while the first two that came up are companies that paid to appear there, the next two are results that organically, by the things that they're doing online and the tactics they're employing, are organically popping up there. Now, Todd, go ahead and show the next one. Now, this one also is hard to read, but I just want to tell you what it says. This one is searching for auto insurance in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I thought, let me use the example of a relatively small town. I mean, how many auto insurance choices could there be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa? Well, actually, if you could see the top, it actually says there were 1.78 million results. For auto insurance in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, there were actually 1.78 million results that took only 1.39 seconds to generate from a Google search. And the very, very top result just happens to be smithinsurance.com. And I know this person, it's actually State Farm agent John Smith, and he purchased that ability to after 1.78 million results to be the #1 result that pops up. Now, some interesting statistics is that studies show that more than 67% of all clicks, so once you get your search results, over more than 67% of everybody that will actually click on something, they click on the top 5 listings. So the folks that are appearing in the top 5 have a huge competitive advantage of getting a click because they're at the top. And almost 95% of people will not go beyond the first page of results at all. So while 67% go to the top 5, 95% will go to, it's usually about the top 10, only about 10 to 20 line items will appear on the first page, but before you have to click on more results. So 95% are going to that top 20, let's say, and 5% get divided among the rest of that 1.78 million, that get listed here. So, so going back, go ahead, Todd, to the next slide. So going back to this slide again, when you are looking at how can you get one of these results, then you're trying to figure out you could buy your way to the top, or you could figure out what are the things I can do organically that will get me to the top. And search engine marketing, what that involves is search engine marketing involves buying these keywords. So what you're doing is you're gonna pay for the word camping equipment, for example. If you're in the business of camping equipment, you're gonna pay for the ability to say, whenever somebody types in this word, I'm going to buy that top listing. Or, there are other things you can purchase. You can purchase actual ads, you can purchase impressions on Facebook. Like when you scroll through Facebook, you'll see, oh, there are these sponsor ads. So you can purchase content that will appear in front of somebody. Now, when somebody buys content like this, they don't actually have to pay for it until you click on it. And that's where you hear that term pay per click, is because you have like a monthly budget, and that budget will get assigned to all these keyword searches that you've purchased, but you don't actually pay anything to the company that you purchase these words from unless they actually click on your link. So that's what's called pay per link. But you can also pay per impression. I do some of both. And just an example, I do impressions on Yelp, but I don't pay for it unless they click. In a single month, my ad on Yelp appeared 54,000 times. So that's how often somebody had searched, and how often, based on my bidding and based on my budget, I actually appeared at the top of Yelp 54,000 times in 30 days. And then of that, then I had a certain number of people that clicked through, and then I get charged whenever somebody clicks through. So that search engine marketing, again, is involving the paying for the top. But search engine optimization then is this organic way of getting to the top. And Todd, you can go ahead and advance to the next slide. They're both after the same result. Again, you're trying to get people to find you and click on the link to find you, then your web page. So while search engine marketing is very key, keyword focused, search engine optimization is also keyword focused, but instead of paying for those words, you include them in your website. So you try to match whatever people are looking for based on what's on your website. And you also, some things that can also help are just activity, like just having online reviews helps. You see this a lot when you're searching for something in Google, and the first listings that come up aren't somebody's website, but sometimes it's actually their Yelp review page, or sometimes it's their LinkedIn page. And so that kind of shows you how everything's interrelated. Your reviews on Yelp, your review on Google, your reviews on Google can also, set you at the top of the listings as you're listed in those directories, but it's all related. And even your social media activity, I've heard from a lot of you folks that you don't like it on Facebook, you don't like doing this, you don't understand it. You don't have to so much like it, but just know that it plays a part in what you're doing online and how it's matching what Google's algorithm is. Google has this algorithm on determining who's going to appear at top, and they won't ever publish exactly what the algorithm is because it'll be way too easy to manipulate. But there are definitely, these tactics that people that have experience, like Todd's business, who has experience in figuring out some of those tactics that outsmart Google's algorithm. All this activity helps. URL links, what I'm talking about there is you can actually purchase website links, like we call them redirects. And for an example, if you're, my website name, official name is christykennett.com, but I could also purchase, for example, carinsurancesanfrancisco.com and bayareahomeinsurance.com. And I have about 10 other links that I've purchased those website names because I'm trying to match what people are searching for. And then those website names get listed on different online directories. And then, but when you click on those other links, they just go to my same christykennett.com website. So the last thing listed here is frequent updating. So this also makes a difference. Apparently Google's algorithm likes it when there's frequent activity and currentness with your website. So they used to say updated at least once a month, but now they're actually, people will advise you to actually update your website once or even twice a week. The more you do it, the more you can show that your website is current. I mean, the more you can show the algorithm that your website is current. Go ahead to the next slide. I'm going to show you an example with my own website. So here, I'm going to use this as an example. It's you can't see it on this screenshot, but there's a read more link in the middle of the page that if you click on read more, you'll see that it lists out the words and fully. It'll say auto insurance, renter's insurance, condo insurance, homeowner's insurance, life insurance. It's intentionally wordy, not because I don't know how to write a concise, write up, but it's intentionally wordy because I'm trying to match what people are searching for. So if people are searching for things and it matches what it actually contains on your website, then again, it will be part of this algorithm that these search engines use to determine who appears on top. Now, in addition to helping me get found online, I'm also using my website to tell the story about my business after I'm found. For example, my personal value statement in my About Me space, it says, we're a family-owned local business and we take care of our customers just like they're our own family. Because I really want to tell that story that we're local, we're different because we're local, we're not just going to be this 800 number you call. I also want to show that you can click to call me, it's right there in the corner, you can click to call, you can email me, you can text me, you can get a quote right here on my page. There's also a link, you could file a claim and you can send a payment, you can pay for your bill anytime you want, 24/7, because I'm trying to really appeal to this, these .com, San Francisco clientele where they want to do things on their time. They want to do things at 2 in the morning if they want to. They want to do things whenever they feel like they need to do something. And what I'm trying to portray here is you can walk in, call in, or click in anytime you'd like. Now, it's one thing. Go ahead, Todd, to the next slide. So it's one thing. Oh, actually, Todd, can you back up to my webpage one more, real quick? Now, when I mentioned about frequent updating, it doesn't have to take a lot. I could go in and edit some words. I can switch out. There's some articles and video links on my website. I can just change out an article. I can change out, what a video links. And also, since I have my webpage tied to my social media, every time I post on social media, it also updates my website automatically. So it's all kind of tied together, and people can find me. Once they find me on my site, they can go and check out these other areas of Yelp, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and check me out on all those other places too. Go ahead, Todd, to the next one. So it's one thing to be found, but then after someone finds you, it's really what is your personal and professional brand you're trying to portray. What's the story you want to tell? And this I think is a great visual, because if you think of your virtual office as a physical office, which one of these businesses would you rather do business with? The one on the left or the one on the right. You might like the shabby hippie attitude of the one on the right, but for insurance, you probably want the one on the left if you're going to compare. I'm going to go ahead, Todd. You can take it from here on.
Okay.
Your virtual office.
So look at this picture and remember it, because I'm going to refer back to it that Christy posted. So talking about website and social media marketing. So just to review some of the things that Christy said too, in this digital age overview, number one, obviously some obvious points, the internet is today's business directory and it's global. Number two, websites have become the digital brochures and the company data centers. Page ranking, the importance of showing up in a browser search, which Christy talked about. If you don't show up without an internet presence, you are losing business. Keywords, which Christy talked about too, is using specific terms in your content for robust search engine optimization results. And brand identity, what are you? What's your image that you're trying to project? Define your company, why your company is credible and unique. 6, be responsive, meaning the website, 60% of sites searches are made from mobile devices. I'm thinking that figure has actually gone up, that percentage. 24/7 sales tool. Your website and all your all these things, they're on the website 24/7, and people search for you all hours and from various locations. And customers tend to check out businesses anonymously before they make any kind of a contact. They want to find out who you are, like Christy was talking about. And social media is a way to reach a broader market using targeted messages. And last, conversions. Now, I call this like a chain of events where, and I'm going to talk about this, where someone can find an article on an internet search that you're looking for, then, or it could be on Facebook, and then they'll find out who the person is. They'll go to Yelp, then they'll look at a video, then they'll go to the person's website and go to a call to action and contact that person. So here's an interesting story. I was a client for a while, and a couple of years ago, someone talked them into hiring this person that said they're an SEO specialist. They can do social media marketing. They'll get them #1 listing. It'll be great. Well, this is what they came up with as the website. And it reminds me of the picture that Christy showed about the two, what's your virtual office space look like. I mean, there's a lot of no-nos on here that it's poorly designed, red type against a black background. A lot of the text is not legible, and this is just a few of the issues from this site. So they came back to me and they said, can we restore the old site that you did for us? And I said, no, it was an HTML site. You really need to upgrade to a content managed site. So I said, fine. So this is what we created for them. And as much cleaner. It's got like a nice features with easy navigation. All these are drop-down menus, talk about all the different litigation services, about their legal team profiles, case studies, and resources and so forth. And on the homepage is a slideshow. They're personal injury attorneys. They have a online chat that you can connect to. They have social media links on the side. And it's just a much more inviting site than their previous one, I would say. I'm going to show a few other sites that we've done for Rochelle Optometry, San Francisco Eyesight. This is for free, real estate. And when I'm talking about being responsive, scalable, mobile-friendly websites, that your site needs to look good on a large monitor, whether it's a tablet or a mobile device, a smartphone. You've seen my site if you've been to some of the other presentations I've had. Ours, we have a lot of dynamic content, a lot about our company, how we our services and our process, and talk about branding, websites, illustration, and multimedia. We're going to talk about videos. So Google searches. So here's an example. So someone comes, they're searching for an attorney in San Francisco that is a specialist in foreign tax. And so they click on this, and if they click on it, this is what's going to come up. They see, oh, Robert L. Summers, got 4 stars, and they see a site they wanted to find out more about Robert L. Summers. They type in his name, and his internet presence is quite vast. This is just the first page. It goes on for a few more pages. From that, they might say, well, let me check on one of these. Let me check out his Yelp reviews. Wow, he's got 37 5-star reviews. They read through that. They get a good feeling of what he's about and what kind of service he provides. They go to his website, perhaps. Now, this is his current site, but we're in the process of designing his new site, which is looking like this, similar branding, which has about his profile, legal services, his books, videos, articles, and posts. Looking through this, they might say, well, I want to, let me click to the next one. This is part of the slide. They say, oh, he wrote a book on cryptocurrency. I'm interested in that, as well as foreign financial assets too. So they might go to one of his articles, current articles on cryptocurrency, read through that, go back to his site to watch his video on cryptocurrency. And from there, go to the page on the books, maybe perhaps, then click on to read more about it or to buy it. Clicking on that, they'd go to Amazon where his books are, or they go to his content page and finally make a contact. And Bob, I think, will talk about this, but he's told me several examples where people have actually done that. They've found him from an article, this, then they finally call him, and they're already pretty much sold on using him as an attorney. Or he could be found on social media. So we talk about social media. I am going to do a quick break and see if I can do this for a second, interject a little humor. Maybe some of you saw this once. It was about a little skit on social media.
People to thank for being here, but I really have to thank Facebook. When I first heard about the campaign to get me to host Saturday Night Live, I didn't know what Facebook was. And now that I do know what it is, I have to say, it sounds like a huge waste of time.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've talked to clients that have said that that's exactly what they felt, that social media is just a huge waste of time. And, you know, it could be. But go on to the next little video that Bob did here.
Let's talk about social media. No, let's taco about social media. But before we do that, let's make some tacos, okay? We have our taco. Let's start talking about social media.
Yep, just got to go back to the screen share. Get this up again. Okay, so next slide. So this was something Christy found on the internet, a little comic description of what the different platforms are. Facebook, about tacos. I like tacos. YouTube, watch me make tacos. Yelp, best tacos in town. I ate there once, trust me. Instagram, best hashtag tacos ever. Twitter, worst hashtag tacos ever. And LinkedIn, skills include tacos and taco consumption. That's a little simplistic, but it does bring home a little bit. So if you're going to use social media, choosing the right social media platforms for your business, there are multiple platforms, but these are the 6 that I focused on here. So kind of think about who your audience is, how you can reach them, and what are your goals? What are your objectives using this? I'm not going to go through all this, but demographics of purpose, best for, and downside. You can see that, you know, 1 billion users using this. Facebook, they're saying the demographics 25 to 54. I'm not sure about this one with Twitter, 18 to 19. I think it's much higher than that. All users for YouTube and LinkedIn, 30 to 49, and 18 to 29. That's about right for Instagram and Pinterest. Purpose for these, I'm not going to go through all these. Building relationships, news articles, conversation, how to do something, news articles and conversation, building relationships, scrapbooking, best used for building brand loyalty, public relationship, brand awareness, service industry, business, B2B business, lead generation, retail, art, food, entertainment, etc. And Pinterest, lead generation, clothing, art, food business, etc. Some of the limitations, I mean, I'd say one of the limitations for social media compared to, say, websites and posts, the articles that are posted, is it has a shorter shelf life. And I'll go over that a little bit on next slide here. So with Facebook, here's one of our clients, Jim Marshall, photography. With Facebook, allows users to share pictures, music, videos, and articles, as well as their own thoughts and opinions with others, however many people they like. And you publish content on Facebook, you can typically expect it to last for about 5 hours. They say during which time the average post receives about 3/4 of its total engagement. Next slide here. So with Twitter, it's a pretty much online news platform where people communicate in short messages. It's now up to 280. It used to be 140 characters long, called tweets. Everybody knows that. This platform constantly pushes the content to its users, and it has a short lifespan. It's average about 18 minutes. This is mine. I don't use it that much. I use it to post some of my books and art and political comments and such. YouTube, which I'm going to talk about more later, is a marketing that's overlooked a lot by social media marketers, but it's really, I think, a really powerful one. You can create business channels, which provides an easy way for people to store video online and share them with others, and covers many topics. These videos are easy to share via forms of social media, email, and websites, and also to be embedded in your website. Here's Frank's LinkedIn page. It's a B2B marketers say that LinkedIn is responsible for 80% of their social media leads. Like use matched audience features, search for individuals, leverage groups, start your own group, and it also has a longer shelf life than some of the other platforms. Instagram, you can turn your posts into sponsored ads to reach a targeted audience. Also, like Facebook, they're linked together really. Facebook bought Instagram a while back, and one post might just be something that'll hook a potential client or customer. Use Instagram stories to post behind the scenes photos or videos. The content you publish and Instagram tends to last much longer than Facebook posts. The average Instagram content lifespan is, say, 48 hours. And then Pinterest. So I don't use this too much, but I do like it. It's sort of interesting. It's an image-based social media network where users and businesses can promote and explore their interests by pinning images and videos on this virtual bulletin board. In terms of longevity, they last a lot longer. High quality pins continue to garner repins and engage for a year or more. So let me go on to one of our clients, an example that we've done social media programs with, Jim Marshall Photography. Jim Marshall was our client back in 2010. I think a little bit before that. He died in 2010 suddenly. And his estate he gave over to Amelia Davis, which was his longtime partner and friend. And Jim was really hesitant to do any social media at the time. And Amelia really took it on and has just done an amazing job. And we worked with her to help her out on this. And there's some of the posts where it shows off all the great photography that he's done. And there's so many great stories behind each of these photos, which they put in the post to engage viewers. And then using hashtags such as this, it helps target people that are interested in Grace Slick, Janis Joplin, music, San Francisco sound, and so forth. And this is how you reach a larger audience. And they have quite a big following now. Same with Miles Davis. I mean, there's a much larger story, but one of the first times Jim met Miles, he said, "Hey, Miles, why do you have a green trumpet?" Miles barked back. He said, "Hey, you mother, blah, blah, blah. I didn't ask you why you have a black camera." And, but they ended up building a really strong relationship. And the story behind that is fascinating. It's been posted on here. When the Beatles came to Calhoun Park, Jim was like the main photographer that was shot a lot of photos. And also for events, there's a documentary that was made on Jim Marshall's life. He's quite an eccentric character, and this was marketed almost solely on social media. And the shows that was first previewed in Austin, Texas, and it was sold out. Won all sorts of awards. Came to San Francisco, sold out in London, sold out in New York City, and all this was posted online, and people signed up and went to the show. And so he was using that the book that is featured in the movie to show me the picture. We've done a series of videos to promote the book, and it became a bestseller. And if you've seen some of my other presentations, I've shown some of these videos. And for posting events. And then recently there was a live streaming interview with Amelia and on Facebook. So here's an example on the Facebook and Instagram videos. This formats. This is the horizontal format we did for the Facebook post, and then 2 for the Instagram vertical, which tends to work the best. And we had to reformat it and square format. So Instagram, is basically there's an app for your phone. Start off, you can obviously see it on your computer too, and now upload images through your computer originally. You have features like your feed and your story, and be able to send messages and the IGTV videos. When you go to the settings, you can go to switch to a professional account. You have extended features to use. I'm not going to go into all these because you can find all this information easily if you just Google it. You'll find all sorts of great videos on YouTube that'll explain how to do this, how to do that, and one of the great features of YouTube. So here's a couple of Instagram pages from Jim Marshall. And then recently, I think this was going right now, you can do an Instagram slideshow. And this is when there's more images than this, just these few, but this one's Grateful Dead on Haight Street. Clicking through, showing these shots he did of the sea of people on Haight Street. And there's a picture of Haight Street today. It was kind of sad and empty. And then it goes to the Jim Marshall Show Me the Picture book with a link. You click on that. It takes you to the Amazon page with more about the book, and you can purchase it. So it's a nice sales tool. So another client, the Propeller Club of Northern California. So they're like an organization, similar to ours, that would meet every Thursday for lunch. We'd meet Marines Memorial, and they were meeting at the Jack London Square at Scott's Seafood. And a couple of years ago, they hosted an international conference, which I attended and worked on for them. And then the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And beginning of last year, I was talking with the president, didn't know what to do with this organization. I said, well, why don't we start having Zoom meetings and try to do the same thing? So we started Zoom meetings, recording them. And then I would take the recording, I would bring it into Adobe Premiere, edit it, brand it a bit, set up a YouTube business channel for the Propeller Club, and started posting these videos. And then you embed it into their website. This was the one for their webinar international conference, which was very successful. It was a 2-day event. Hundreds of people showed up, and it was reaching not just people locally, but they had speakers from Denmark and Shanghai and from all around the United States, the coastal ports. And so their clients has been thrilled because they've been getting great responses. When just a couple of weeks ago was a speaker from Denmark that was talking about I mentioned to Michelle earlier about the problems they're having with container crates and the congestion and the stagnation and just the difficulty they're having during this time. So anyway, to follow up, I mean, YouTube has been a great thing, and Zoom is also a social media platform, and which has been very helpful to a lot of people. Talking about Google searches, if you go and type in Propeller Club Northern California, just on an all search, they come up with all sorts of showing their videos and pages. And you click on the video pages, they have a slew of videos to be found. So I'm going to take it back to Christy, and she can talk about how she works her social media.
I do use social media a lot for 3 main purposes. And so Todd, if you want to advance to the next slide.
Okay.
One, again, this is after people find me online or they get a referral, something, the first thing I use it for is I try to show that we're real people. We're real people with families. I have employees. I have, this up in the right-hand corner is my stepdaughter's graduation. There's a picture of my mom, doing some of my marketing in my office. So over on the left is one of our team members, actually had a birthday. So I'm actually trying to portray that we're real people living, here locally in the Bay Area. So that's one of my goals when I try to tell a story through social media. Next slide, Todd. And then the next thing we're trying to portray is we're trying to brand. I had this marketing idea and I haven't fully executed on it yet, but we're right across from the park our office is located right across the street from Golden Gate Park. And so we see dogs every day. We see people with dogs every day. And so I feel like our market is dog owners, dog owners, and not just dog owners, cat owners too. So we're trying to brand ourselves with being very super pet friendly. In fact, State Farm is one of the only companies that doesn't discriminate against dog breeds, you know, on homes and renters we insure. So that's always the message we're trying to get out. And I have this idea in the future of, you know, when I'm back in the office a lot, of taking a picture outside on the street every day and of somebody with their dog and posting it, you know, and then giving that person my, you know, in like a little QR card that has my Instagram and say, hey, check, you know, here's my card, check out your dog pic on Instagram later today, you know, just to get them to my website. So, and then the third, Todd, if you want to show, the third is, this is our kind of like a good neighbor branding is, you know, it's more than a slogan to us. Like, I really want customers, our own customers, and even future customers to understand that like a good neighbor is actually our true way we do business. You know, we're out in the neighborhoods, we're doing good things. We live and work in the same neighborhood they live in. We care about the same causes. We're involved in the same charities they're involved in as well. So that's again, back to the story I'm trying to tell. What's my personal brand? What's my professional brand? And social media, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm trying to get 1,000 likes. It doesn't have to be that, you know, I have to do all these things that people sort of have this myth about what they need to do on social media. Really, you just put out there the story you want to tell. That's all it is. You put out there because people are looking at it. They will look at it, and you can showcase what you control what you want them to see. You could showcase what you want them to see and what you want them to know about you. That's how I'm using it.
Bob.
I turn. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, just a couple updates. Yeah, Lauren Lopin's our estate planning attorney now, and I've kind of given up that part of my practice, and I'm referring everything that way to Lauren. And also, well, I'll do some very complex asset protection. I've written about it. Lauren's our go-to guy for asset protection as well. So I wanted to clear that up. I don't use social media. I use it to the extent that Todd put some of my stuff on social media, but I think I've been fortunate in the fact that my practice had moved online about 3 years ago with the help of TechLeap and Jaime Martinez. We decided to put my entire practice in the cloud because I was worried about hard drive crashes. Once you have one of those, you don't want to ever have another one to recover all your data. And also it was more protected and secured. But most importantly, I could reach anything dealing with my practice anywhere in the world as long as I had a connection. And so that was, we're probably lucky because part of my topic here is, you know, what have you had to do since the pandemic hit? How did it change your business? Well, just like this meeting, Zoom has become the way I communicate with clients. And whether it's, I've had so far a client in LA, I've had one in Dubai, I've had one in Greece and another one in Costa Rica. And it's like you're meeting with them in person, although they're, you know, they're not in person. So Zoom, you know, we like to complain about it because it's got some shortcomings, but it's an amazing, amazing tool. And, you know, I think when things quote unquote get back to normal, we'll probably still be using Zoom. I mean, I really enjoyed meeting clients in person down in the financial district, but until people come back to the financial district, that's not going to happen. I did want to mention, you know, Christy talked about her experience with the wedding officiant and the one that had 3 bad reviews. I think we all need to be prepared for that. And I really think the response needs to be something along the lines, we're all about great service, and part of doing great service is fixing problems. So please let us know how we can fix this problem. If we put that out there, no matter what happens, I think a reader like Christy, seeing how you respond to the review, should be impressed. And I think that's all we really need. It's more saying that than actually fixing the problem, although you want to. And Christy's, I guess his officiant, there's nothing to fix because it's over and done with. But most problems can be fixed. Yeah, I really like to open it up for questions. I feel like the panel's been talking long enough, and there's probably some great questions out there. So I'm going to end my presentation at this point and just say, let's open it up for questions. So you can all unmute yourselves, possibly raise your hand, and I don't know, Todd or Christy, you be the one to figure this out, who to call on.
I just want to add one thing, because Bob I think you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago that someone was at Switzerland that was searching for something. They found an article, then they watched your video, and then they went to your Yelp review, and then they contacted you. You're always asked, well, how did you find me? And they say, well, I found you on the internet, or that the one example of the woman from China that inherited some money and had contacted you, and you said, well, how did you find me? And she says, well, you're famous all over the internet, or something to that effect. So it's having a presence on the internet is really important for your business.
Yeah, I was pleased with the woman from Switzerland because she said she watched my videos, so I could say, hey, Todd, someone watched the videos we produced. So I thought he'd get a kick out of that. So
I did.
Okay. Someone's got to have a question, so go ahead. Patrick.
Hi, guys, excellent job. Question, the return on investments. I'd like to know more, mostly directed to Christy, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Return on investment is hard because you really have to have the proof of somebody clicking, and you do get those. You get those reports of how many impressions you get, how many clicks you get, and you can even monitor the reports on if those clicks converted. So you do have a way to see a true return on investment if you're going to do these tactics. Now, what's not as quantifiable, what's not as quantifiable is if you're doing things for branding versus lead generation. Because some things you do for branding because you just want to spread the word that you're out there, but it's not going to always translate into a pure lead. But it's like, so it's hard to do return on investment on branding. It's very easy to find return on investment on lead generation. And so I'm definitely a statistics, like I track it all the time, and I'm always switching tactics based on, where I'm getting the best results, time of day, when people are shopping, and I can see that chart. Yelp, for example, I do a lot with Yelp. Yelp gives you the exact stats you want all the time. You can see your reports all the time. And so if you are going to do these kind of tactics, I would definitely recommend somebody who can demonstrate your reporting. And if they're going to meet with you monthly, they're going to look at if something needs to change. Are these keywords not working? What are the most popular keywords that people are searching for instead? And you do have to adapt. So this isn't a set it and forget it at all. It's a start it, adapt, modify, track, and so that you can really get good results.
Just to add on that too, is that, we're living in this age where it's instant gratification. People want results immediately. And when you launch a social media campaign, you can't just do a couple of posts and expect great results. You got to be consistent. You have to keep doing. You got to change your content, get people engaged. That's part of it. I think back when I used to work for a radio station, and we would do these large campaigns. If you work on months on it, we'd have these focus groups sitting behind the glass, watching people come in and review something and make their comments, and everybody would say, well, maybe we need to change this and so forth. So you work on this thing for months and months, then you launch the campaign, and then a lot of people I work with say, well, nothing's happening. What's going on? Nothing's changing. Well, it takes a while. You have to give it time. And it's the same with social media, and it's even with your website, adding new content. So all that factors in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say that I use Yelp extensively. Basically, it's Yelp and it's Google, and I don't pay anything for those. So my return on investment, I give Todd lots of money to make my website look good and do my videos and make sure things are working. But I don't actually pay directly for anything. So And that's where,
over time, that's definitely where I want to be too. So over time, I've actually only been, I know I sound like an expert, but I've actually only had this particular business open for 2 years. So I just opened this particular business in this location for 2 years ago. And so I have to pay for stuff if I want to be, in the game. But over time, I am going to be very organically able to be found because I'm going to have 100 reviews, or I'm going to have, the other ways that are going to influence the way people can find me versus now, unfortunately, I just had to pay for it because I'm so new.
Yoko had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, thanks everyone. In my world, Prop 19 is the biggest issue of the day and nobody seems to have any answers. So Bob, do you have any clarity
answers.
on that? Oh, good. Love to hear it.
Or is that the wrong prop? Is that the, are you talking, go ahead.
What's the question again, Yoko?
So the question is about Prop 19. Can you just give us some general basics? I know it starts April 1st, but yeah,
Oh.
I don't know. As much as you want to share about Prop 19 would be really helpful.
Why don't you describe what it is?
So Prop 19, the part that we're in the real estate industry most concerned about is the idea of being able to transfer a property's tax base to their new property anywhere within California if they're 55 and older.
Oh, that part, yeah. But we were dealing with the parent-to-child exclusion that ended February 15th. Lauren and I have talked extensively about ways around that or how to plan for that. So that's what kind of confused me. But you're talking about the 55 and over. That's something I haven't looked at because everyone was so panicked with the losing the parent-to-child exclusion. We kind of just focused on that, and that ended, I think, February 15th. So
what is your, I mean, for someone, what is your, are you a broker? What's the nature of your business?
Me? Oh, yes, I'm a real estate.
So the Prop 19 was actually brought by your business. It is, the sole purpose of it was for the real estate industry to get more commissions. And it's created a huge nightmare for a lot of people. For the only benefit really is for people who are 55 and older. They can transfer their home, their property tax basis to other properties. And if the property, they could do it 3 times. No, actually they could do it, I think, as many times as they want. And no, they could do it 3 times in their lifetime. And there is an adjustment, though, if the property they're buying is more than what they sold, there will be some sort of adjustment. The downside of doing that is there's still a capital gains problem. And if someone owned a house for a number of years, let's say anywhere in the Bay Area, the amount that you could transfer and avoid capital gains is only $250,000 per person, or $500,000 if you're married. So you could still have a capital gains problem, but you can move to any county in California, and as long as you're buying a house for less or the same for what you sold, your property taxes will stay the same. Does that
used to be very limited reciprocity, right? There was only a few counties participating, and now all 58 counties participate together.
Right. So those are the basics that are published everywhere. I guess the question is, how are the assessors dealing with it? And do both sides of the transaction have to happen after April 1st? That's a big question that is somewhat unclear.
That is unknown. The Board of Equalization, who dictates their handbook for assessors, has not been updated. The legislation proposition was very poorly drafted. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I have a client who sold a property before the passage of Prop 19, and they're wondering if they're still going to get the benefits of it, even though they're over 55. And as of now, there's a lot of unknowns. There's also unknowns if you, you know, if you you know, make a transfer to your kids, and what if you decide you need to sell the house? How's that going to be affected? There's a lot of unknowns. The assessors are very behind, or the recorders are very behind in recording documents. And I recorded probably, I don't know, 40 deeds before February 15th to get it so that there could be parent-child exclusion would apply to the kids now. That's really where most of lawyers were focused. What's going to happen after on April 15th for people over 55 is if you haven't sold yet, you get the benefits. If you've already sold prior, we don't know, and there's a lot of unknown.
Okay.
Frank, you're muted.
I guess I have to unmute. I am unmuted now. I just wanted to say, great presentation. Thank you so much for that. And just wanted to make a comment. I know something that we're doing on our website right now is we're talking about this notion of reducing friction. And I think both Todd and Christy talked about this, with Christy talking about being able to get a quote, being able to pay your bill, being able to call her with one tap or one click on her website. And then Todd talked about the site being responsive, i.e. working on people's phones, because what's happened, particularly during the pandemic, is people are doing all of their interactions on their phones even more so. And I don't know if you guys want to just talk a little more about that. It's really important that people don't hit what I'm calling friction when they go to your website, either on the phone or on, so they don't have to resize or have to go through a bunch of clicks to get your phone number.
Yeah, I actually don't even own a personal computer, if you can believe that. I only have my work computer, and I literally do everything on my phone, and I am everything. I do everything online banking, online everything. And so if you don't have a website that is mobile friendly, I won't do business with you if it's something I need to go to all the time. So it is really important to pay attention to your mobile site. And so your website should if it's something that somebody's going to be interacting with frequently, has to be mobile friendly. So it's a really good point, Frank, on that. I don't know what else you wanted us to answer.
No.
Todd, do you have anything to add
Yeah,
to that?
I was
just
gonna say, go to Todd.
I want to see a show of hands of who doesn't carry around their smartphone, whatever it is, iPhone, all the time. I mean, I don't go, if I walk out and I realize I left my phone somewhere, I just feel almost naked. I'm going, oh my God, I left, this important piece of equipment. Yeah, who is Patrick?
Todd, look, I was wondering, and no one has touched on this, data security and data privacy. That's a big deal for my customers. And I wonder your thoughts on this, and what kind of emphasis should people be putting on this across the board?
Yeah, that's become a bigger and bigger issue. I mean, we had an episode, I won't mention names, a major client that did a really stupid thing, and they got an email, they clicked on something for security, and someone took over their Facebook site, completely took it over. They were eliminated as an administrator. They don't know who it was, somewhere on the dark web, I guess, and was manipulated. And it happened to another person too that was also a co-administrator. Security issues are huge. I mean, even the company, the Propeller Club, it's a maritime organization. Some of the speakers are really concerned about cybersecurity. They're saying in the ports, like the Port of Oakland, they were saying, we're seeing more and more activity, and they're heightening their IT security. So yeah, websites, all sorts of systems are vulnerable. I mean, it's just, there's more people out there that are trying to cause havoc, and that's a huge issue.
Yeah, I'll say that we're probably not qualified to talk about it. That's why we didn't. But Tech Leap, and I know Jaime Martinez, they're really into security, and that's one of the reasons I use them. I use them for a lot of reasons, but that's one of the big ones. And yeah, I mean, they've got special, spyware over and above the regular spyware on my computers. They monitor them. They, make sure they're secured. But yeah,
it's one of the reasons
to talk about it.
It's one of the reasons that Helene was very adamant about setting up this whole cloud service hosting platform, which is much more secure, because a lot of our clients are on GoDaddy, and almost every one of the sites was getting hacked. And Helene could speak on that better than I, but it's just they have a horrible,
Yeah, if I can just speak to the insurance side.
Jude?
Yeah. So you see two things happening. First, cyber rates are going up because of ransomware. So exactly what you're talking about is bad guys are taking over a network. They are then, forcing ransom from you. And actually, these cyber policies actually, as long as they include ransomware coverage, there is coverage. So that's the good news. Then the second thing that's happening a lot is what you call phishing, right? Where it's a fake email, looks like it comes from the CEO to the CFO. And remember, no one's right next to each other anymore, right? And so it looks real, and they end up, the CFO sends the wire, and it ends up being fake, and it's a loss. And so the insurance, typically will also cover that. So that's a couple things going on. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I had a claim last year from a nonprofit who posted, this is pre-pandemic, who posted pictures from a party, and they did not get the authorization to post those, and they got sued. So you have to remember, as the more we go online, if you're going to be posting pictures of people, you have to get their permission to do that.
Thank you, guys.
Probably last
Michael.
question from Michael. Yeah.
Hi, I wanted this great presentation. And I actually wanted to put this out to the panel and to people who are business to consumer, all of us who are business to consumer focused. I would like to get thoughts about anybody who's used Thumbtack or Home Advisor or Nextdoor as part of their marketing strategy. And it goes to the question of Patrick asking, what's the ROI? I've spent a bunch of money on the Yelpiverse, and I'm disappointed at the results. I'm looking for better results.
Christy?
I haven't paid for anything on Nextdoor yet, but I probably will try it. I like it. I'm on Nextdoor a lot myself. But what I do is I troll Nextdoor. So I'll get on Nextdoor, I'll search for somebody who has an insurance question or somebody who's looking for insurance, and then I'll private message them. And I have gotten business that way. And then I also, in my own feed, when I see it, somebody's looking for a window cleaner, architect, or some other problem, I'll refer my friends. I'll either comment with somebody, or else I'll PM and say, hey, this is who I used and they were awesome.
I think, it is another forum where people share, and I'm constantly seeing that on Nextdoor where they're saying, oh, do you have someone that does such and such, or I have a really great person that does, this and such and such. And so it is, that name goes out there, that company name goes out there. And to follow up on what I was saying before about the importance of having a presence on the internet and a good website and all that, because the first thing I do if I see something or somebody who gives me a referral, someone I know, I will go and search on Google them on the internet and find out what comes up. So, and if they don't have a website, or if they don't have a responsive website, that's like a check against them.
Can I add something else?
Yes.
The beautiful things
when
about
someone sends an email to you and they say they want to introduce themselves from a company, and their name is something at gmail.com, I don't take any of it seriously.
That's a good point.
It's not even the same
thing.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah. No.
Helena, yeah, it is important to kind of have that redirect. You can buy your email box, right, Todd, so that you have something else besides Gmail, as your business address.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, when you get an email, we get stuff from the execs or something like that, something Frankie that is that just said, is this, I'm testing, or email me back. I'm busy. Don't call me. Just, click on this or email me back. And you look at the URL, see what the address is. And usually it's some bogus thing you can tell right away. And you can check the source too on your email client where it's coming from. But yeah, don't do that. No. Don't click on it. It's not worth the risk.
But Michael, the last thing I'll add about using Nextdoor or Facebook or any of those is the data. Exactly correct. And talk about data security. The data these companies are collecting on the users is like astounding. And you can pinpoint exactly who you're trying to go after. So you could pinpoint, for example, if you do lashes, you can pinpoint people who have posted about their engagement or their class reunion coming up. You can pinpoint age, geographic, new home buyers, like just things they post about, things they've talked about. It's crazy like how narrow you can pinpoint on who you want to see your ad. And that's one good part about those social networking, advertising on social networking.
In what platforms do you micro-target like that? Because I have like this really specific set of demographics, exactly who I want in my sweet spot. 38 to 68, typically female, kids are grown, they have a lawn care service, they have a dog walking service, or they've been to the vet within the last 6 months, their income's between this and that, their whole life they've been local. I mean, like I have this, I have the picture and I don't know how to maximize that.
Yeah, I'd probably start with Facebook has all that data. I mean, honestly, and that all that data, I would try it. It's not expensive either. It's not expensive at all to advertise on Facebook.
Okay.
So you got to come up with a cute post with a dog picture so they click on it. But I know, Michelle, I think we're out of time.
I just want to interject one thing. Helene corrected me on something. It wasn't through email, although you can get that way. What the incident that happened was two people. It was a text message with a link on it that was sent to them, and they clicked on it, and it just took over their whole phone. It took over their Facebook account and everything. And they had like huge followings and stuff. And one person, they started posting pornographic pictures on it. And he's like got this big reputation. He apparently he started crying. He was just like, he didn't know what to do. And fortunately he had some friend that worked at Facebook and he was able to contact him. They were able to take it down and get it fixed. But it was a nightmare. Helene spent a week or two with this trying to correct it, and Facebook was just unresponsive. They wouldn't listen to them, and then we had to send all this evidence that they were the owner and the administrator, and they finally got it restored back. But it was just, you don't want that to happen to you. Telling you. Anyway, sorry about that. Just thought I'd mention it.
All right, gang. Christy is correct. We are out of time. This has been an amazing and incredibly engaging panel today. Thank you very, very much to Christy and Todd and Bob for really, really giving us some fantastic information. So clap for everybody. Thank you.
Does anybody want to stick around and win a prize? How long does it take, Christy? Sorry.
Well, I had this little, it might take like 2 more minutes, but I had a little game I was going to play. Here, I'll just go ahead and it's funny because the person I drew was Michelle Jones. But Michelle, you don't get a prize unless you answer these questions right. And here, I'm just going to, oh shit, I think I could present. It's okay. Oh wait, I can share screen. Hold on. As you recall, Jude Winterhalter presented at our meeting a couple of weeks ago, and he gave a slide of covered, not covered. Do you remember this, Michelle?
I do remember it.
Okay, all right. So you have to get at least 2 of the 3 questions right, okay? And so let's see if you can answer these. A woman was drunk and falls off the roof after the property owner and the insurance carrier told the apartment users not to use the roof. Was that liability claim covered or not covered under their insurance?
You know, my recollection was it was covered, even though I thought it was just the stupidest reason for it to be covered.
Jude, what's the answer?
Yes, it was covered.
It was covered. Ding, ding. Okay, next. Number 2. customer had a renter's policy and he had a fire in the apartment because he was wink, wink, making films. was the fire damage covered or not covered?
It wasn't covered because he should have had a rider that covered the film business.
Jude, what was the answer?
That is correct. That is
That's
absolutely
right.
right.
And the title of the film was Too Hot to Handle.
Okay.
Too hot.
Good one, Michael.
All right, last question. Michelle, you've already won, but let's do the last question. He said he had a network security and data center that had a large theft loss, and they had an alarm system, but the alarm code was posted on a little stick-it note right next to the alarm. So was the theft loss covered or not covered?
I think if I remember, the theft was covered, and it was another one of those that I thought this didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Jude?
Yes.
Yes, it was covered. Stupidity.
Yes.
There's no exclusion for stupidity. Is that right?
Apparently not.
No exclusion for stupidity. Yes.
Thank you. Michelle, you win. I'm going to send you a $20 Starbucks gift card.
Oh,
and,
yummy.
And good job paying attention a couple of weeks ago for during Jude's presentation.
Thank you so
That's
much.
it.
All right, guys, it's time to wrap up. So see you all next week. Emily Chan's our presenter, and I look forward to seeing you. I will be back in San Francisco and not freezing because I'm frozen right now. The heat's not working in my place. So anyway, see y'all.
Thanks, you guys. See you tonight, Steph.
Bye.
Good to see you, Steph.